In particular, how do you expect the C&I and residential markets to evolve, and what opportunities or challenges do you see? We hear a lot about challenges in the US, data centers coming in, all the craziness. And how are standards driving a simplification of ESS systems? For instance, in the US, the UL 9543rd edition allows basically a seamless combination of inverter and battery. It's a fantastic tool to basically combine different brands together without too much cost. So who wants to go first? What do you see as the most significant change coming in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I'm sitting there right next to you, so I might as well chime in there. Well, I think there's a lot of evolution coming down the pipeline, mostly in C&I. I think the C&I for the US market is going to be driven around the TPO, financing, and incentives still remaining, especially when it comes to your base ITC, 30% tax credit that we're looking at here for non-PFE, non-domestic products. There seems to be a lot of talk around it, but unfortunately, as we see the news and what's going on as far as TPOs, such as the last failure that we had, Freedom Forever, it's making it more and more difficult. But hedge fund managers and the New York money bags, they've always figured out a way how to make money on the renewable space, and I think we're going to see some evolution of that. That being said, it's getting more and more challenging to find solutions around non-PFE and even non-domestic products when you have to work with the macro direct cost tables set by the IRS guidelines. I think we're all going to be very creative to work around that, and I'm starting to see solutions around that. In my opinion, I think the bottom line that's going to happen is that manufacturers are going to have to start paying attention to the actual customer, and the actual customer, in my opinion, is the installer, technicians, and contractors. If you can make them profitable, they will commit to you until the next best thing. And I don't think the financial markets are going to be catching up soon enough to provide these solutions that make it easier and profitable. It's going to have to be the manufacturers that need to step up, and I'm already seeing evidence of that. With the creativity as far as design is concerned, reducing installation costs, and obviously, when we look at storage capacity, and that's going to be significant for the C&I side. And one last thing, I think one that everyone seems to be talking about and dominating the news is going to be data centers. Now, data centers do tend to operate on the hyperscale side, which is anywhere between 50 megawatts to 100 megawatts. That seems to be the standard. But for those that you may not know, that's a 5 to 7 year construction timeline. And we're talking in the 5 megawatt hour space. There's been a lot of conversation going on around about decentralized data centers. That's smaller units at 1 megawatt scales, even smaller than that. I personally am involved in that, and the pipeline that I'm seeing from most of these hedge funds and investment firms, family offices, private equity, is tremendous. The problem that they have, and I sit at these pitch rooms and meetings from data center operators, they don't understand energy at all. They're still looking at AC coupled systems and losing the inefficiency on the conversion side, and that translates dollars. And so I feel that manufacturers, you have a responsibility to step up and actually address the issue, because the pipeline is massive. It's going to reach a $1 trillion market in less than 10 years.
Okay, thank you. Maybe one question I have, Malo, what do you think about how is this supply chain orientation now affecting innovation? Everybody's so busy with figuring out where you can get this part and that part, but how is it, you think, impacting or slowing down innovation in the industry?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. I have since last year, I've been pretty loud in saying that China is going to be the hero on the global supply chain. That's no secret, and I think you should be proud of that. So to answer your question, how do I see it? It's here. It's here. And I think, there's talks about hedging the supply chain and other factors in multiple countries, and I do agree. I think we should always have option one, option two, but number one, China will always be that solution, in my opinion. We can have partnerships. I mean, we heard our founders from MEGAREVO that, we're partners, and I truly do believe that. And even for the sake of your own organization, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So I know you're home-based, that's fantastic, that's great. But when we look at the global markets and you're truly committed to partnerships, then you might want to hedge your relationships in other countries and increase that supply chain. So supply chain A, supply chain B, and you're set, and you're going to be the hero. And you should be the hero, because I do believe in what you're doing and what this country has done. Especially, it's been impressive. I've been involved with China the last 10, 15 years, and what I've seen just in the last 6 years is extremely impressive. It's unfortunate that some countries don't see it that way, but you will be the hero. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
Thank you. Now, there is not just the US.
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to be here and to be part of this panel. What I would like to say, and I would like to start telling you the history of the evolution that we have in energy storage in Mexico, because right now we have a very strong residential market running there. So about 70% of the projects that we have right now are in the residential and low commercial projects, okay? But the challenge is to move this, to move as fast as we can to the C&I projects. And the challenge is the knowledge, because a lot of people, we have about 30 quotations every month for the ESS systems. So it's really high, the need that we have there. But the knowledge is, the challenge is in the knowledge, because the people is asking things that maybe they didn't want or they don't need it, okay? So we need to have a lot of training courses, not only in the installer or the APCs. We need to go to the end user to explain how does the BESS systems works. So I'm very sure that we are going to deploy a lot of solutions in the next 2 years, just to put on the right perspective the things that the BESS system can be done, okay? So today we have a lot of roadshows in Mexico. We have master classes that we are teaching to the installer how to do the things correctly, because most of the failures in the deployment of the solutions, it is not because of the hardware. I mean, it's not because of the systems that we are installing. It's because the people doesn't know what they are doing. They just install it, and then we found some bad surprises there, okay? So the knowledge is one of them. The second of them, as I mentioned before, is to change the percentage that we have in the residential and move it to the commercial and industrial side. And the opportunity in Mexico is huge, because there is not enough energy to deploy the industry there. So there are some places in which the energy company in Mexico, it is not giving enough power to put those factories and still growing. So they are looking at the ES system as a solution for that. So I think that we can move really faster in this point in Mexico. And also we have a lot of, the government is allowing and pushing the energy solution, so I think that we can move really fast from now on.
Well, thank you very much. How do you see Venezuela looking at Mexico? I realize the needs seem to be very different in different areas. Like in the south, it's more about a backup, stronger mindset on backup. And in the north, where it's more industry, it's about time of use as well. Is there a common denominator you see in Mexico already?
Not common, because there are several needs. For example, if you go to the north of the country, there will be a lot of backup. Okay, if you go to the center or the middle of the country, you will find that the best solutions are peak shaving or shifting, something like that, to have some saves in the electricity. Okay, but there are another solution like UPSs in the data centers that it is deploying in Mexico. It can be deployed in Mexico. So today, I think that we have the solutions we have the technology to give the solutions to all the applications that are needed in Mexico.
Thank you so much. Sure.
All right, Bobby from Jamaica, and more importantly, from the Caribbean. And the Caribbean, I would like to share with you all, is really a group of 12 countries, sovereign countries, and an additional 17 that is controlled by other countries. So we have a tremendous market and free sunshine. And as such, CESCO has decided to go into partnership with MEGAREVO. And one of the drivers that's actually pushing this is what occurred in October of last year, when we had the strongest hurricane to date that crossed the island of Jamaica and destroyed half of the country and took out our grid completely. So there is more reliance, or people are now looking at energy storage as an option. In fact, and I've not heard this being mentioned, but the war that is going on as well has also pushed us to look at energy storage. And the reason for that is we almost went back into COVID shutdown because of the cost of fuel. So those drivers are driving energy storage in Jamaica, and the government is actually pushing to get this done, both at the universities, hospitals, you name it. So there's a tremendous opportunity on that side, and I can only see this growing. The other disadvantage that came about that's actually pushing these solutions as well is normally a lot of institutions would run on generators as backup power. And since the hurricane, they have realized the cost of operating those generators daily. You're talking about the cost of fuel, the cost of operations, that is cutting into their bottom line. So I think we have a tremendous opportunity. CESCO is a 60-plus-year-old company, and we know a bit or two about how to market and how to sell, and quality products. That's what we define ourselves as. I hate to share that, but I'm a salesman, so I have to sell CESCO. Yes. But that's what I've discovered thus far, and we're forward. So there's a tremendous development that will occur going forward. And as I said, we have the Caribbean. It's not just one country we're talking about. We're talking about 12 countries, with the exception of Puerto Rico, of course, my Puerto Rican friends, that we can drive this, and there is a tremendous demand for it.
Thank you very much. Very interesting.
Well, hello, Christian from Chile, or Chile. Well, it's a pleasure to be here and an honor to be invited to this panel. Well, Chile, as you might know, is moving very fast towards energy storage. We are deploying a lot of utility scale projects. So from 5 years to now, we've been talking to 30 megawatt, and now we're talking about gigawatts one project. This is utility scale. But now the CNI solutions are getting more and more important for companies. But one of the things that moves us more to CNI solutions coming from the UPS world was this UPS function that many companies call, which MEGAREVO develops for now a few years. So when they presented them in Chile with us, Troy and the team, they showed us this solution that we found out very interesting for this Chilean market. Now, we have been the last week over the SNEC exhibition in Shanghai, where we have seen many companies that are developing systems that are saying that they have UPS function, and the computation is very fast. But one of the things that we have seen now in MEGAREVO, and we found out that it's interesting, the trend that's going on in Chile, is that most of the companies need continuous operation, and they have inductive loads, and they have factories, and all that. So we found out that this is going to the correct direction, and we are taking all this to there, following the market trends. But now there is one thing that we've been discussing here, and we've been looking for forward to solve. This is the problem that now we expect this to be well aboard by many companies. But the problem is the integration with batteries that can resist these critical loads. So the technology, one of the trends that maybe we are going to be looking at in the next year or 2 or 3 years is going to be the technology of the batteries that can resist this type of discharges, the critical loads. So the integration with that is going to be fundamental for the companies that are developing this type of systems. So from what I'm talking about with your CTO, which is a very good conversation now, you are looking at that now. You are looking at to increase the range of voltage, so you can actively with new technologies like sodium batteries that are developing many companies to be able to support this type of applications. So what we found out here now is that not only companies from Chile or other countries, everybody's looking at this. So this is becoming a trend. And from the point of view from us, from an engineering company and developing this type of products, we found out that now the trend that maybe is going to follow the next years is going to be the technology of the batteries and how they integrate to the power systems that we are going to be deploying in these projects. So now we are mainly talking about LFP technologies that they may fit very well for commercial applications. But for industrial applications or mining applications that in Chile is very common, we will need to develop soon new technologies for batteries that can integrate to this type of applications. So also data centers that well known here are becoming more popular in Chile also. But the decentralized data centers, because in Chile is a small country, we have 20 million people there. So, but the decentralized data centers are going to generate a lot of distortions in the cities or around the cities. So I was hearing before that the isolation transformer, why it's so bulky, but this type of solutions is going to be very useful for the grid stabilization and also to compensate and not be able to have some fines or fees by the power grid into your billing accounts monthly. So from our point of view now, the main topics that we need to discuss is the important to transmit to the customers. It's important that there is not a cost issue. It's a reliability issue. It's a confidence issue. Why it has a transformer isolation? Because it's needed for the roads and protecting our roads and outside also. And the other part is becoming the integration with the new technology of batteries that mainly is going to be dominated by sodium or supercapacitors also. So, and how the manufacturers is going to be able to upgrade their systems to the new range of voltage for these new battery solutions or storage solutions. So that's our point of view from our engineering company, and how we are going to face this over the next years in Chile and also in Peru and other countries that we are looking at.
Very interesting, thank you. One question I have about Chile is mining operations. Do you see more activity in this area, like rare earth or other more mining sites being developed?
Yeah, well, we have a partnership with a company which is one of the main suppliers of conveyor belts, and they have a lot of issues when it's an outrage of energy. They have a lack of power supply. So these conveyor belts, they transport the mineral to the other part of the mine. So they are kilometers of these conveyor belts. So they have a inductive load, heavy inductive loads. So the mining sites now are looking at to have this continuous operation. But the UPS, they don't see as a solution. And so the energy storage solutions and the containers that we saw yesterday, they looks like the proper solution. But the problems now are become, if it's the subterranean mine site, the conditions are very harsh. So, but yeah, the mining sites are looking the energy storage solutions mainly for the operation to avoid millions of dollars of losses or for an outrage, but decentralized energy storage systems rather than bigger one, because the bigger ones are operated by the utility or the private funds that they sell in the PPAs to sell their energy to the mine sites. But this is now more focused on decentralized energy storage systems that can have the backup and support inductive loads for this type of solutions or the other type of maintenance. Now mainly it's doing for the conveyor belts, and we have now 2 projects to develop for an underground mine, which is very complex, 2.4 megawatts in backup. The problem is the conditions, 40%, 40 degrees, 90% humidity, harsh environment, 1,800 meters underground. So this is not an easy solution, but these mining companies are going to ask for more this type of solution, but decentralized. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, Bruno Chiraga from URI. I think in terms of the perspective in Brazil, the main problem is the regulation. We don't have a clear regulation in Brazil yet, but this is a problem, but this is an opportunity as well. From our perspective as asset owners, I think this happened in the past when we first started our company that we sold 4 years ago for our oil company. When we started investing 14 years ago, there was no regulation in Brazil for solar. So the solar started booming in 2019 with 1.5 gigawatts installed in Brazil. Now it's the second largest energy source in Brazil, representing 25% of the energy matrix. So, but this is causing an issue in Brazil because most of the renewables are located in the north part of Brazil, and the consumption are in the southeast part, and the government did not invest much in the infrastructure. So this is causing a lot of problems for the utility scale projects that right now are restricted to generate power during the day. So they need to reduce the generation for 4 hours only in Brazil. So for example, for the first company that we created, we are losing around $2 million per month because of this regulation in Brazil. So I think energy storage will solve this problem in Brazil, but the government did not give us the regulation yet, so we cannot invest in this kind of big projects in Brazil. But in terms of CNI, I think this is a bigger opportunity for us to invest, especially for the industries, for the agribusiness in Brazil, because we suffer a lot with the lack of support from the great companies. So this is a very big opportunity for us, and this is what we are focusing right now to invest our capital in Brazil.
Okay. Very interesting. Thank you.
And hi, gentlemen, and ladies, and I'm Walter Zheng from SGS, and it's my honor to be here today because I know we are the only one third party to be invited to join this product launch. If you are talking about the third party, maybe we have some tax standards, right? Regulations, tax report and certificate. Yes, and we are all experiencing a fast changing world. No matter the technology, from megawatts to gigawatts, just much faster than before. But also this regulations and standards. I joined SGS from 2005, starting my career as a testing engineer. In the past, my life was very simple. I study, I digest one standard, I check the products, perform the tests, and if the pass, I give a yes. If failed, I return it to the customers and go back to debug and send back, then finally sign the certificate. Now everything has changed. As more and more business line I'm managing, I find myself I'm running out of knowledge. Michael, you remember that when do you feel like a little bit nervous when you are any Q&A? Some experts come up, raise their hands, and ask you some very specific parameters of your products. Can you remember? Can you remember the answer?
Sure not. No.
Yeah, so we are facing one problem: how to integrate our knowledge together. Not only the products. Just now during the tea break, I have a very happy talk with Ruben. And Ruben told me, and he knows a lot of standards and regulation of each component and unit, but when all of them are combined and integrated together, does it work? So I think this is the trend. Michael just now mentioned the newest version, UL 9540, will be different from the older version. It's more integrated. And I'm sure the more considerations and requirements regarding the grid connection requirements, fire safety, reliability, and cyber security aspects will be built into the standards and regulations as well. So we guys are now not only testing and certifying the products and systems at the gateway. I think I and my team and we are living together to experience a long journey, the life cycle of the products and solution and the service. Yes, we are not standing and stamping at one of the gateway to tell, okay, your product is passed and now it is your certificate and you can sell. It's more about that. We are sharing our knowledge locally and globally. And I remember Mr. Yao mentioned that we are today he is not to ask everybody to sign the contract. It's about the local investment with the global success, right? And I remember Brian also mentioned that we are not just business partners. We are a long-term partnership like a family member. So this is the trend that I'm experiencing, and we are accompanying our both MEGAREVO and everyone to face and overcome the technical and regulation challenges all over the world.
Very good. Thank you so much. I think we have Brian. Would like to-
Thanks everybody. I would like to do a summarize of all of the gentlemen's. U.S. Thanks for saying that China will be the hero. Yes, we are very good at manufacturing, but go back to U.S. and tell all the American people that we are not a threat. we are friends of your people. We are very pretty happy to be integrated. So we offer all what we can do to offer a good hardware with all of the control on the U.S. people. Thank you very much. Max, good. You're pretty right that we have to work together to educate the market. The storage is still pretty new in Mexico. You have such a huge population that you need energy. So let's work together and educate the people and give them enough technical training. I believe in the very near future, Mexican people will understand what we're doing. They will make use of the technology we are offering to them, and we will take care of all the engineers across this great country. Jamaica, such a great, beautiful places. But as you said, the weather, the storm. Let's pray for these beautiful places. But by the way, the story is so necessary for Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yes, we cannot rely on the grid because we don't have a grid to rely. And the storm will destroy the grid at any time. Right? So not only the residential but also the commercial industrial, we have to install as many as we can immediately in Jamaica and help local people to get energy. Chile. Good. Michael said there could be a data center business, big data center business, mining business, industries, factories. We can install our solutions everywhere in the country. And by the way, you guys are so experienced. So I guess we can punch the market in the very near future. Brazil, I love your football. It's gonna be World Cup next week, right? Well, yes. Great country, great population. It's the first time I heard that you are generating the power in the north, but the consumption is happening in the south. It is very similar to Germany. It is very similar. They're looking around the map of Germany. This country, they generate a lot of energy, especially the wind power in the north. But they cannot transfer this energy from Hamburg to Frankfurt to Munich. All right, it's long distance. That's why we need storage in a country like Brazil or Germany. Regulation is a problem. It's a great problem. It seems that your government cannot help much. All right. So it seems that we can do something to make a difference. And it very similar that Brazil is a big country. It's like Mexico. Big population. I guess we have to educate the market in Brazil as well. Right? We have to install small systems one by one in the community and tell people it's a good thing to help you to get rid of the utility. And of course, commercial industrial. There are so many manufacturing workshops and factories in your country, and producing everything, right? So this, the UPS solution has been mentioned. Great. Not only Brazil, but also in Chile. Yes, Walter, thank you very much for these years taking care of the quality of MEGAREVO. You're starting in 2005. It's just long year, 21 years. Huh? But you are pretty right that you are not only you are lack of knowledge. I was born as a engineer. I was a designer before, but I'm also lack of knowledge because this industry, this business is booming so fast. Even if we were very well educated, 25, 30 years before, as a master's degree of power electronics, I am lack of knowledge. But I have one suggestion for you and for myself and for everybody else here. The only way we can achieve is that we learn from the customers and from the scenarios. So why we are lack of knowledge? Because the storage is installing everywhere, which is not happening before. So how can we know that? We learn from these people, and they will take us to their factories, and they will take us to their islands, and maybe some data centers. And we will check one by one the load, voltage and currents, and we'll install this machine somewhere in Jamaica or Chile, and we will check the meters, the diodes. Otherwise, how can we get the knowledge? So let's work together. The key third party, best certification agency in the world, SGS. And make sure the products these people get from MEGAREVO factory, every individual product is 100% reliable. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Hi everyone, I'm Frank. I think last time we have a very nice talking, and I'm in charge of the R&D, but not back to the reality. I must pay a lot of attention to the business side. So today I have two questions for you guys. Okay, one is business side, and the other is technical side. And after the pandemic, I traveled to the United States. I saw a lot of players in the market, and I saw the whole industrial is thriving at that time. There's a lot of players in the market. There's a lot of inverters with different brands, with different functionalities in the market. Everyone's happy about the revenue, about the profit. But 2 years later, I talked with many partners, with many installers, distributors. I found out their revenue and profit is highly reliant on the subsidies and tax credit, right? That's true. In United States, I think the solar business is, of course, it's a very good business, but actually it's very hard to scale up their business to the right, because you must have lots of installers with experience, skills to deploy the system to the field. After the system is deployed, the inspector checked all the wiring and signed the paper. You got the money back. That's a very long period, and that policy and regulation forced them to use very aggressive business model to scale up their business, like Mel said, the TBO, and they need financing to support their business. So in 2024, I saw some friends, have talked with them. They told us, okay, this topic is very tough for you guys, okay? A lot of companies were bankrupt because of this model, right? But MEGAREVO never released CNI product to the United States, but now we want to do that business. I just want to know how can we do, or what we can do to scale that pathetic period and make everyone happy with our product. Everyone can earn money. Every company is profitable.
You want to know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're not going to be able to approach or meet the non-PFE guidelines and so forth, yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Most of the TPOs, and I'm not saying most, actually 100% of the TPOs, their revenue depends on incentives. And removing that, obviously, it can stall. But you're asking a very important question: how do we survive without being babysat by government policies such as incentives? I believe, and this is probably career suicide, I think that all incentives, including oil and gas, should be removed. And we should all be responsible for paying the true cost of energy. If that was the case, right now in the US, our kilowatt cost per kilowatt hour is probably somewhere around $1.50 a kilowatt hour. If we were to just remove half the incentives for oil and gas and even the utilities the way we do it, I guarantee our industry will move even further. Now, that's not what's gonna happen. We're fully aware of that, right? So then how do we integrate ourselves, right? How do we become partners? There's a lot of programs. There's demand response, demand charges, VPPs, and every single market tends to be niche. And I think what's going on with manufacturers is that you're not actually paying attention. You're paying attention at a very high level, 30,000, 50,000 feet. But when you get very granular in very specific markets, you will realize that there's a specific solution, and it's not a one-size-fits-all as far as software is concerned, participating in different programs, and that's the challenge. But there is a common denominator that you can approach that, and it's through software, listening to your customers, listening and studying the market, and I think it will survive without incentives. And it should, and it will, because the true energy cost keeps going up. It's evidence. I mean, we could just take a simple data reading from the last 10 years and how we're seeing how we're seeing energy prices keep going up. It's not going to stop. And it's just a matter of education, putting this out there, and having manufacturers and partners from globally understanding that we can really come to a solution and be profitable if we pay attention to niche markets. That's the way the C&I market's going to go.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's the longest question ever. One question.
That's very tough. I think the second question is much easier for you guys, okay? And when I traveled in New Jersey, I have lots of friends, I have lots of classmates now. They moved to United States and they get a PhD in the United States. They work, they live there. And I visited one of my classmates, and I checked the bills. I found there's like a gas generator in their house. The maximum capacity is 22 kilowatts. So when I turn back to China, I think maybe an inverter with 20 kilowatt can cover all the load of the United house. Okay, but I don't know whether it's true. So I came back. I designed the inverters, but everyone said the inverter is good, but nobody wants to buy the inverter because they don't know how to sell the inverter to the customers. Okay, and in 2023 we made a good customers in Texas, and they shared a lot of stories with me, and they want our inverter can have their functionality that start HVAC. They want our inverter can output like 48 kilowatt with 10 seconds to start up the HVAC of the house. We did it for them, and everyone said, "Oh, the inverter is so strong." And but back to the reality, they want to pay. They don't want to pay for that because they don't know how to persuade the end user to accept this solution. Okay, and also, there's a lot of geopolitical issues, and lithium is a critical mineral. So I think maybe in the future, lots of countries will control lithium minerals. So I pay a lot of attention to the last solution like sodium battery. So I designed our second generation heavy inverter, a lot of heavy inverters, off-grid inverter, and the inverter can easily to hook up the sodium battery. So I extend the the range from like the 40 to 60 to like 25 to 60. I passed it, and it is very good. And I shared this story with many customers. They like it. Also, they like it, but they also don't know how to sell this like beauty to the market. Okay. So back, we are a Chinese company. We are far away from the, I know you guys come from the Western Hemisphere. We are far away from United States. We are far away from the Mexico. We actually know nothing about the situation in your country. So what's your suggestion to us how to design a customer-liked inverter? Yeah.
Let's keep it a bit short. We are right about.
I'll tell you a quick.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, all right?
10 seconds.
Countdown. Real easy. Your customer is the installer contractor. Pick the top 5 across the U.S., so key markets in the U.S. Spend a week with them, and you will learn that you need to design a system that they can install in 4 to 6 hours. That's your success.
Paying attention to the end user needs.
Yeah, I agree. In respect to the end user needs, but also in terms of selling the solution from a sales perspective, it really comes down to packaging. Financing in terms of an option is critical. I think even our market, we have to be looking at that. The ROIs, when you look at regular diesel fuel and generators and that sort of thing, this pays for itself quickly. So it's a matter of educating your suppliers or your that you partner with in terms of the technology, and it can be sold. Frankly, we don't have a lot of the regulations that the US has and a lot of the benefits that the US has. So we have nothing like that to look forward to from a profiteering standpoint. So we have to make the business work within our market, how we know it can work and how we know if we can sell it.
Well, Chile is a small country, as I said, but we have the international standards. So regulation, aside from the end user needs, is very important. So the thing is that if we follow the international regulation and we standardize some of the solutions, we can be more like cost effective. So the thing that we have to always pay attention is try to participate with the international regulations, like the ISC, the UL. So we as a part of engineering company, we are part of the table of discussion for the ISC to try to integrate in a better way to our country and other countries in South America, the international regulations in order to the manufacturers to be able to produce in a better way solutions for the world finally. So I think that we need to see this in a global way, not in a particular way.
I agree with Ismail. I think pick the top 5 biggest clients in Brazil and spend time in marketing the product. I think this is very important. Because in Brazil, when we first started, everyone thinks that Canadian solar is from Canada. So they pick Canadian solar only because they think the quality is better because it's from Canada. So I think you need to know how to marketing the product in Brazil. So pick the top 5 and spend time with them.
Thank you.
Do I have to answer your question as well? Okay. For me, how to decide the product right by your end user, it's your homework. What I can do is to shorten your go-to-market cycle and try my best to package the knowledge and experience of my local team and global team and make you more easy to access to the most updated regulations and standards and knowledge. And to both of you, MEGAREVO and the distributor, installer, and our end users. That's what we can do, and that's what I've been doing always, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.